We're in Perth this morning with Innovate Australia and we're talking climate innovation. We've got some great speakers and a lineup of amazing panel and a really engaged audience today. So stay tuned for what we've got coming. I found that the audience was very engaged and the topic really couldn't be more relevant in today's time.
Yeah, we had not enough time for questions. We had way more questions than we had time to answer them, and that's always shows to me great presentations and a great discussion. So yeah, I look forward to networking with more people and helping them answer their questions.
And if there's one thing that you thought was the highlight of the day, what would that be for you, Andrew?
Oh, I love seeing Ray and his future projections of where solar and batteries are going to go, because I mean, from what I've seen, that's exactly what's going to happen. So that's, it's always good to see. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and well done, Andrew.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hi, Ray. Tell us a little bit about today's forum and why it's important to be innovative when it comes to climate.
Look, I think there's a lot of action around the world. We're seeing the kids rising up with their school strikes. I think it's time we stopped talking about this and taking action. And action is going to require innovation in everything that we do in the economy, across all of our industry sectors, and also in our own behaviour and our own desires. We've got to get behind changing and fixing the climate.
Status quo isn't going to make a difference, is it? We need to really get smart and do some clever things.
Yeah, look, there's good technology rolling out. It's a question now of renewables are commercial, they're commercially competitive. It's actually time we stopped just looking for commercial investment and actually add mandates to the rollout of renewable energy. Battery technology is coming to provide the certainty of supply that we require. Combining those things together works for our energy system, but it also works for our transport system. We can have electrification of transport through batteries, and we're seeing the rise of electric vehicles as we speak, and every day there's a new headline on electric vehicles.
Is there a time you think where batteries are going to become a bit more affordable, especially for homeowners that have solar powered or solar panels on their house?
So there's three levels of batteries. The most expensive level are these things. Electricity in smartphones is really dear. You move it down, the next cheapest place to have it is in motor cars, because transport in motor cars is expensive, and so the energy in motor cars is dearer. The energy that we take to our homes is cheaper again. We've got to go through this scale of moving from the mobile device to the electric car to the home, and then we'll actually have cheap storage for houses.
Peter, why is this important today? And there was a lot of wonderful topics coming up and even heated discussions, if you like, with the panel. Share with us, what do you take away from it and why it's important?
Yeah, look, it's important. I've actually been involved in this area since 90s. We participated in early Eco Expo, depending where you're from, how you pronounce it. But that was in Los Angeles, and we done a lot of programs in Los Angeles. Was at the Global Youth Forum on the Environment in the United Nations, and so I always believe in sort of doing well by doing good, so that motto. And so with this, as you know, Innovate Australia runs different types of events, but this is a very important topic, and we tell all the speakers, although we had nice heated discussion at some point, which is good, but it was still positive. So they keep, the idea is, keep a positive approach, see what we can do, how innovation can change. And some examples I was giving, the research around the world, how to split CO2 into carbon and oxygen. It's a very stable molecule, so it doesn't like to be split very much, But then actually there's some couple of universities in Australia actually doing recovering carbon in flake way, and also, there are some companies trying to recover oxygen and reuse oxygen as well. So look, it's really good topic. I really enjoyed this, and I think people also enjoyed it. And by numbers that we had today, it looks like people think it's important as well.
Well, It will over a much longer period of time, but I mean Australia has always been dependent on its climate and its weather. It impacts everything from our farming operations, our agricultural sector, right across our marine environment. So obviously the climate has an enormous impact on life in Australia as we know it, as it has for hundreds of years, indeed tens of thousands of years, as our Indigenous population has always known.
We're focusing on how to position Australia to really benefit from our climate outcomes, positive climate outcomes. And what we've realised is every scenario when we're looking at creating measurable climate outcomes has its own unique barriers. Some of them are predominantly legislative. Some of them are economical. Some of them to do with, the detail in the supply chain. Some of them are psychological, right? It's about consumer buy-in. So we understand that at every point in every different aspect of this quite broad spectrum that we have to look into, each challenge is going to be unique. And what that means is we as an organisation need to be quite scalable, dynamic, agile, and there isn't going to be a cookie cutter solution. So we're going to focus in predominantly on the research and producing reports that across industry can understand where things are at.
So just to tell us a little bit about when is this going to be published?
We're hoping to be within the next month or two, but the reality is if we're going to get an influx of new insight and information, we'll hold off to make sure that we get it as comprehensive as possible. For example, in the hemp sector, where planting is about October, harvesting is in January, so there could be some real important data that perhaps might be worth holding off and just doing some preliminary findings initially and having a final report at that point.
Excellent. How can people find out more or look up the publication once it's done?
Sure. Basically, we'll publish everything on the website as well as on social media. We're pretty being really conscious about carbon output, so we're not going to be printing anything on paper, but we'll make sure that it's readily available for free distribution on the internet.
And what's the website people can go to?
It's climateoutcomesfoundation.org.au.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, Charlie.
Thank you so much. Cheers.